Hey everybody, got another video here for you. I just finished what is that thing? The Purist barrel tuner build, and I wanted to demo it, but I needed to like fix some gear and stuff before I did that. And doing a little mod to this thing is part of that, and I thought I'd do a little quick and dirty how-to. All I'm going to be doing is adding a cab out jack to a Pyle 60 amp combo unit. So for those of you who might not know what a cab out jack is, on your nicer combination amps, they'll have a jack at the back, and you can plug in either the internal speaker or you can plug in like a guitar cord going to a separate cabinet of speakers. And your less expensive amps don't always have that feature on them. This one has a 60 watt amp in the cabinet, but it only has a 6-inch speaker in the cabinet. So I want to add the cab out jack so that I can hook it up to the speaker from a Fender, it was a Fender Frontman 40. Yeah, say that 10 times fast. And it's a 12-inch speaker. It doesn't have a huge magnet, but it is a 12, so I think it'll sound a little better than this 6-inch will. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I also have a little tip or trick that I wanted to pass on that has to do with the other piece of gear I was fixing. So this is the other piece of gear that I was fixing. It was the pedal board. I had it up on a shelf and not very securely, and it took a dive a couple times and some of the pedals came off. They're just held on with hot glue. But the trick that I wanted to show you, usually I'd have to come in with like a scraper and scrape and peel off the old glue and then get the glue gun and put new glue on. But this time it occurred to me that I had this thing, and this is one of those butane torch lighters. And what I did was there'd be like a patch of glue where the quilter had come off, and I just take this thing and gently heated up the glue until it started to, bubble a little bit, and then it was the same as, or even better than when it had come out of the glue gun the first time. And I just slapped the pedal back on and held it down. It worked great. Put them all back on. I didn't really have to use any more glue, and I didn't have to peel any glue off. So yeah, if you ever get a situation like that, and you can reuse hot glue this way. So on the Pyle here, it's real straightforward. It's a box, and it's got an amplifier, which is a metal box, and it's screwed in. It's attached to the top of the inside, and then it's got a 6-inch speaker here, and it's got 2 wires coming out of the box, red and black, and they just clip onto the speaker, and that's all there is to it. And in order to do this mod, all you have to do is, let me get the camera a little closer. So here are the 2 speakers coming out. This is the power cord here. I'll get that out of the way. So here are the 2 speaker wires coming out of the amp, and there's the connectors for this internal speaker, this 6-incher, and yeah, it's got just connectors. So the idea is you're going to pull these off, kind of like cut them in half, and then this side you want to mount like a jack, like maybe here or something, and then connect this to the jack. And then over here you want to take a piece of guitar cable, like the end off a guitar cable, one end of it, and connect it. It's a better idea to connect to these guys, even though you could solder them directly on here or something like that if you wanted. But yeah, you connect the jack to these wires here, this end, and that way you got a jack down here. You've got these wires coming out, and they're connected to a jack, and then you've got a jack connected to, no wait, this goes to a jack plate. This goes to a guitar cable end, and then you can also have a separate guitar cable coming from another cabinet, and you can plug either of the guitar cables into it for an external cabinet or the internal speaker. That's the way it works. All right, let me stop confusing you and get to work here. So, take your amp and disconnect the internal speaker. Plus and minus on this were really hard to see, so I marked it with some red and black Sharpie to make it a little bit clearer. So here's our wires, and that tells you how much you've got to play with. Probably want to put the jack right here so that it leaves as much of this as possible for connecting to this guy. I'm going to have to sacrifice a guitar cable for this. I might have one that I've already cut one end off of. And obviously I'll also need a jack plate. I suppose I could get fancy and mount it through this, but there's no real need. Just mounting it up on the edge like this would be fine. Okay, found an old cable here, and I dug up a jack, a couple of screws to mount it with. Okay, first step, figure out where this jack's going to go. So, these are the wires coming out of the amp. Basic idea. This is cool, this set of jacks I got, they have flat plates instead of curved. Makes this a little easier. Anyway, basic idea is right out there. And it's already loose. I can turn around. I guess I'm going to turn it like that way and then go like that, so the terminals are towards the amp. And then the wires, I could probably cut them about where my finger is, and that should be long enough. So that's that part. That gets connected to this part. And then these get stripped back and soldered on here. This gets mounted here. And I can splice these together with Tycon connectors and a lighter. So the first thing you need to do is strip these guys back. See what the third notch does here. Might be too big, might not. Oh, that's right. As soon as you strip a wire off, always twist up a multi-braid wire so it doesn't fray and stuff like that. That's what they taught me in high school electronics. It took 3 years of electronics in high school. Alright, there we go. So now I need to solder these guys onto these guys, And to make that easier, I want to tin everything. And to make tinning everything easier, I want to put a little bit of flux on everything first. And it also helps if you plug in the soldering iron and heat it up. So I mentioned this in a previous video, but it's such a cool deal, I figured I should mention it again. I found this thing just recently in the last couple weeks online on Amazon, $9. It's got a built-in on-off switch. It's got a temperature control, and it's got a LED light that gets brighter and darker as you change the temperature. Comes with the stand. It's so nice, I actually got a second one as a backup. It's only $9, man. So yeah, this is what the thing looks like. This is the backup unit. You get the iron, the thing of solder. This is the little stand. It's just stamped sheet metal, and you bend up the stand part. And a little cleaning cloth and a whole bunch of tips for it for $9. Man, can't beat that with a stick. So yeah, and it works great. I used it on the last build on the Purist barrel tuner. So yeah, it'd be one of those videos that I mentioned in at first. The solder gun died, so yeah, this thing is much better. It's like 60 watts, so it gets the job done quite fine. One thing it doesn't come with, though, is flux. So I want to get some flux on the wires here so the solder flows more easily. Just kind of slam them down a little bit. Doesn't take a lot. By and large, it smokes off, but it does help the stuff flow. And just wait for the iron. Okay, that's half the battle right there. Now I just got to take this thing and splice it up to these guys and hook it back up to the speaker, and I'm done. So the first thing is see how long this needs to be. So we plug it in there, and we go down to the speaker, and we got about that long. If we cut it here and then splice these on, it'll definitely reach. So this is where you cut it. So get the cutters and boom. All right, time to strip this thing back. You have to cut away the outer cover with the razor blade, and then strip back. It's going to be probably just a bare shield ground wire, and then a insulated positive wire inside that, and you have to strip off part of the insulation on the positive and twist up the ground and tin it all, and you'll see. Same idea as before, but with this wire instead of that wire. Actually, I'm going to use Tycon, so I don't have to tin or solder. I just have to strip them back and shove them together and heat it up with the lighter. And that's all there is to it. It's all done. You can now unplug the internal speaker from the amp and plug in a cable and send it off to an external cab. And I've got a 12-inch external cab that I'm going to send this thing to. So, I think that does it for this video. Until the next one, everybody, have a good one.